Lady Mage presents the holders 51 through 55, the Holder of Illusion. Holder number 51. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself into. When you reach the front desk, ask the worker if the Holder of Illusion is housed there. If the worker nods, you're doomed. The holder has anticipated your arrival and you will feel your body slowly begin to fade out of existence. It's not a pleasant experience. If the worker answers no, be thankful. She will hand you a sheet of paper with directions on getting to the proper asylum and ask you to leave. Do so. Turn left and throw away the paper. You do not want to alert this holder to your coming before it is necessary. Walk 4 blocks down the road in the direction you are heading. Then turn right and walk 1. Then turn left and walk 2. And then stop, scratch your chin, and turn around. The street has changed. All the color has drained from the world in front of you. A huge crater gapes from the center of the street. Not a pane of glass remains intact, and all the people you might have passed on that block lie horribly dead. Take a step back. There should be a red paint pen on the ground beside you. Grab it and stuff it in your pocket. As you watch, the discoloration effect slowly spreads, revealing what looks like the aftermath of a military attack on a black and white world. Smashed buildings, blasted streets, and dead people everywhere. Quickly cover your eyes with your hands and shout, "I deny the truth! Let the path remain!" If the holder deems you unworthy, you will suffer the same fate as the block, and the effect you saw will continue to spread, wiping the illusion clean from your world. But, if you pass, a slight tingle will shoot through your legs, just barely powerful enough to be felt. Open your eyes. The effect is still spreading, but you will stand fully as if you were in the middle of this ruin. Walk straight down the block until you come to a warehouse. The main doors, though bent and dinged, still stand strong. Next to the doors of the building is a nameplate, like the ones you see on firehouses and the like, but it's completely blank. Take out the red paint pen and write on the plate, as small as you can while still writing legibly, "Who survived to tell of it?" The ink will pool into a dot and begin to drip, much like blood, down the plate. It will begin to describe the survivor, telling his tales of horror and sadness, and the ends to which he fell in an attempt to get the tale out, to try to ensure that it would not happen again. Slowly, you will get the horrible feeling that the holder himself was the survivor spoken of. He will assure you that this is not true. However, at the end of the tale, with the words, "His fate bears not for the telling, but his legacy lives on," will appear. The paint pen will melt in your hand, and the side door of the warehouse will crash open. Run inside, do not walk, and enter the manager's office. It will be completely dark, but dare you not light it up in any way, lest you awaken the guardian from his dreams. Instead, grope around on the desk until you feel an object that's smooth and round in your hands. The office will flash out of sight, and you will get a brief glimpse of the massacred street in full color before everything goes black. You will wake up 2 days later, sitting at the kitchen table in your home. A newspaper nearby screams of a terrorist attack. Sit up, and you realize you still hold the object. Set it on the table. The object you see before you is a steel ball, about the size of a walnut. It is object 51 of 538. The survivor now knows of you, and you of him. This jealous secret will bind for all time. Holder number 52, the Holder of Disgust. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself into. When you reach the front desk, ask if it is someone who calls himself the holder of disgust. The worker's face will turn a bit green, and he will ask to excuse himself and then walk to the nearest toilet. A female warden will appear beside you and ask you to follow her. Obey her for now. She will lead you to a simple door with a number on it. You might remember it from somewhere else, almost as if you've been here a long time ago. I will not tell you what the number on the door will be, but if it's not the right one, your fate will be one of eternal pain and nausea. Ugh. Should the number be the right one, you will find yourself in a room that looks much like a person's stomach. You will see food being digested, wandering into the lower tracts of the digestive cycle. It'll look much more horrible than you ever imagined. Simply wait until you see the door falling into the room. Then enter it. If you do not enter it, then you will slowly be digested, just like everything else in here. Should you manage to enter the door, you will find yourself in a room with pure white walls. One of those few things that do not drive this holder mad. You are not one of these things, however, so be prepared to run as fast as you can if necessary. Approach the girl in the middle of the room and ask her, what do you consider pure? She will stare at you with an open mouth trying to speak, but she will be unable to. Instead, vomit on the floor. She'll close your eyes as long as you hear her emptying your stomach. When you no longer hear anything, open your eyes and walk to where the girl was. Take the pills at your feet. The pills are object 52 of 538. Eating one will make you vanish like the girl did. Object number 53. Appropriate enough, it's the holder of porn. In any city, in any country, go to any adult sex shop you can get yourself into. Walk up to the clerk and ask in an erotic tone to see one who calls himself the holder of porn. If the clerk should smile at you, run for the door as fast as you can. If you do not make it, you will be dragged into one of the establishment's private rooms, where patrons often come to view pornography. If you're not so lucky, the TV in the room will begin showing you every depraved sexual act ever committed by man. Pray you go mad swiftly. Images of rape and sexual torture will begin to seem pleasant as the images you are shown become more depraved and grotesque. And when the scenes finally end, and if you are unfortunate enough to retain your sanity, you will never be able to trust another human being again, as their true depraved nature has been revealed to you. However, if the clerk begins to dim the light, you only have until they are completely shut off to remove any articles of clothing you happen to be wearing. You must do this without any hesitation or thought towards any insecurities you may harbor. Now follow the clerk to the door on the far side of the establishment. Upon entering this next room, you will be greeted by many men and women of varying races, ages, and body types. Oddly, you will find all of these people attractive, completely regardless of previous sexual persuasion. These are the seekers who came before you. You must not look for any of them for more than a few moments. To do so will cause you to be overtaken with lust, and you will be trapped with them for all eternity in an orgy of human flesh, tantalizing as this may seem for the more depraved minds. You must ignore these urges. Instead, look forward and follow the clerk, ignoring any taunts or pleas you may hear from observers. Eventually you will reach a door, and the clerk will take his leave. When his footsteps are completely out of earshot, close your eyes and enter the door. When your feet hit solid ground, you may let go of the door and open your eyes once again. First thing you'll notice about this room is the decor. Typical 70s, with a heart-shaped bed in the middle, being the apparent centerpiece of the room. Feel free to look around as long as you wish, but do not sit or lay down on the bed, for to do so is your own death. After a few minutes or hours you will feel a sharp pain in your thigh, quickly followed by a oozing of blood from the fresh wound. Do not react and do not look down. Instead, wait for a female voice to speak from the center of the room. The woman now lying on the bed seems to be about middle-aged, and though she is past her prime, she is undeniably beautiful. The robe that barely covers her body reveals a soft, smooth skin with curves that would make much younger women jealous. She will sit up after a few moments, offering you a robe as she does so. Do not respond to this. Simply ask the question, do they feel lost? As she begins her long, detailed description of her incarceration, she will turn her back to you, removing her robe. It is then, while she is still speaking, you will see scars riddling her back. It is clear that they were caused by hard lashes from a whip. They are very closely linked to the story she is telling you. As she falls silent, she will hand her robe to you, smiling warily. Suddenly you will find yourself outside in front of the shot, still completely nude, and clutching the robe. There are no people around, but best to put it on, as you remark inwardly about how snugly the robe fits, almost as if it were actually tailored for you. You will notice the wound on your leg begin to heal up, and then finally scar over. That robe, by the way, is object 53 of 538. Use it wisely, darling. Holder number 54. The holder of the file. In any city, in any country. Go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself into. When you reach the front desk, ask to visit someone who calls themselves the holder of the file. Should a look of pain and worry come over the face of the worker, you'll be taken deep into the facility. Beyond the myriad of twists and turns, far more than there should be in a building of this size, you'll be taken to an old-style jail cell. Within will be darkness and one single noise, the rasp of a file against metal. Should at any time the rasping stop, quickly turn and run. Run as far and as fast as you possibly can. Do not worry about taking the wrong path. Getting lost in the depths of this facility will be the least of your worries. Should the rasping continue unabated, however, walk up to the bars and stick a hand into the darkness. You will feel an object placed in your hand. If it feels warm, drop it and fall to your knees in prayer. Pray you are fast enough so that when you look up, you will still be outside the cell. If you are too slow, an eternity of filing will never get you past those bars again. Should the item feel cold, however, voice one question aloud into the cell and pull back your hand. The only question that will receive an answer will be, which side are they on? You should feel the file in your hand begin to move. As it shreds your skin and wears through your bones, you must concentrate not on the pain, but on your question. The file will rasp away your flesh and bone until nothing left of your hand remains. Should you make it through this ordeal without giving in to the pain, you will find the answer to your question in your mind. Your hand will be whole, and once more you'll be outside the facility. A cold and rusting file clutched in your hand. Many go mad with this knowledge. Some use the file to repeat the process in an attempt to remove the words from their heads. If you manage to endure, though, you will find yourself among those at the reunion. That file is object 54 of 538. It'll smooth the way to the reunion, but cannot help you from there beyond. Object number 55, yeah. The holder of cruelty. in a location where dark omens gather and where death is cursed, call to the starless sky for counsel with the Holder of Cruelty. Before the tainted earth you will stand, will rise a black ancient pedestal with a deep bowl carved into the crumbling skull mounted on top. At this point there is no return. The eyes of the decaying skull will glow with the color of blood, and in your head a wicked yet hoarse voice will drone, Mos ultimatum linem Drium ist, blackening until the night defeated. In that bowl you must gather the beating hearts of the ones you hold dearest to you. Should the hearts cease to beat, you will blacken. Should you fail at the request, you will blacken. Should suicide become the final escape, you will blacken. With fresh, organic beating hearts gathered in the dark bowl, the blackening will cease as the hearts liquefy a deep, impenetrable black form. The voices of those offered will speak to you in an unfamiliar tongue, though incomprehensible. Do not fall prey to the command of the deceiving ones. Instead, gather the corpses of your 5 most hated enemies and bring them to the pedestal. Down their throats the tainted fluid must pour. Not a drop must reach the soil of the earth. The 5 corpses will reanimate, rising as wicked puppets, hailing their cursed master, shape-shifting into twisted, blackened beings. To them you must feed them 5 young children, living children, by the way. Remorse of the slightest will not be tolerated in their eyes. As the fresh blood of the children is drunk from their coursing veins, you must watch through the agony, the screams, the tears, and the fear as they are devoured nearly whole. They will endure the pain of a century of torture as they are consumed. When the ordeal is ended, they will surround you and demand only one war relic: your own heart. Be hasteful. They do not feel pain as mortals do. As the unholy offering passes hands, it too will be consumed. The meal finished, the figures will merge and dissipate into a brilliant black aura, eclipsing the dark sky. The silent whispers that will consume your mind form Object 55. When all has blackened, they will guide you to him. This has been Holders 51 through 55. Bye!